Ko nukara kau, tēnā koe.
Ai, mi hati ka koutou katoa. Huri no te whare nei, tēnā koutou. E te mana whakawā, it is my pleasure to be able to be the last speaker on the Wellington Town Belt Bill, and to also acknowledge those that did a lot of work, and particularly through the Select Committee. Mr. Speaker, this particular piece of land that will shortly, with the final reading, be put into law to be protected in a lot of ways. But I want to first start off by acknowledging the tangata whenua, and which has already been done before, but I think it's important as a final speech because it's the beginning and also an important part of the finish. E te mana whakawā, this whakatauki, tumu pāria rākou pāria whānui tara ki ria tāne. And Mr. Speaker, this whakatauki, which opens the preamble of this bill, was uttered by the Te Atiawa Chief, Whare Pauri, te Kakapi o te Rangi, when he observed, sir, that the arrival of the New Zealand company ship, the Tory. Sir, the translation pretty much is about ward off post and weapon so that the expansive path of mankind is opened up. Sir, this is about the journey of life, overcoming obstacles and issues and focusing on the main tasks at hand. And this, sir, is an important part of this bill, particularly because it is an important part of that sort of preamble. As we know, sir, the New Zealand company's dealings with Te Atiawa and locally we proved to be deceitful. And the Crown, sir, provided little assurance as well, or assistance rather. One of the things which the Crown and the company did, sir, between them was the reserving of this large town belt between the planned urban and rural areas of Wellington. Sir, this was done with no compensation to or even consultation with Māori originally. But sir, the breaches of the treaty which occurred within the environs of Wellington City have now been settled, with Taranaki Whānui ki te upoko o te ika and Ngāti Toa Rangatira. And sir, during the Select Committee process, I want to acknowledge the instigator of this bill, Grant Robinson, because there was a very, very good and excellent engagement, actually, around the questions that were asked around the Port Nicholson settlement and how it affected tangata whenua. So, and also acknowledging in the redress of those settlements was the acknowledgement of a special relationship, sir, of mana whenua, and particularly around some of those areas of the town belt. I think the important thing too, sir, was that the place names were also changed, including that area of the town belt, which rises behind Parliament, now known as Te Ahu Mairangi Hill. Sir, mana whenua had an interest and a relationship with areas that now make up the Wellington town belt well before the New Zealand company arrived. And that, sir, has been recognised in previous settlements and, sir, particularly through this bill. But, sir, what was very clear in the submissions process we undertook on the Local Government Environment Select Committee was that the town belt has also come to mean a lot to the residents of Wellington. Sir, the generations of Wellingtonians have enjoyed the Botanic Gardens, the many recreational activities available and the natural beauty, sir, of other reserves and walks in the town belt. Sir, it's appropriate that this area continue to be managed and administered by the Wellington City Council on behalf of the people of Wellington. I think other parts of this bill, sir, particularly around the legal status of the Wellington town belt, which has sort of in some ways never been entirely clear. And with that has come some of the uncertainty, sir, about how protected the town belt actually is and the authority of the council that manages it on behalf of Wellingtonians. Sir, this Act, to me and to us all, provides that certainty that is definitely needed. Sir, it replaces the Wellington City Town Belt Reserves Act 1908 and the Wellington City Exhibition Grounds Act 1959. and it provides one principal source of the Council's powers in relation to the Town Belt. Sir, it also clarifies the legal status of land which is not currently part of the Town Belt, but which is managed as if it was. Under this bill, sir, 400 hectares of Town Belt and a further space of 130 hectares, which is managed as if it were the official Town Belt or part of it. Sir, the interesting thing about this bill and the important thing about it is that it modernises how the Town Belt is managed by the Wellington City Council. Sir, the Council must adopt a management plan. I think this is important because particularly it will future-proof and give assurances about the ongoing management of the Town Belt through this bill. And so what we see, sir, is that they adopt the management plan and review it. I think this is important. The town plan is reviewed, sir, every 10 years. And also what that includes is a public submissions process. So you have, sir, that real kotahitaka going on, or that collectiveness between the council and also the Wellingtonian ratepayers. I think the other part, sir, is that there's also wider consultation provisions which apply when the council seeks to build or extend the structures, imposes charges, grants, leases and consents, or adds land to the Town Belt. Sir, in relation to leases, one of the changes, I think, which was really interesting during the submissions and which came out, but was a recommendation by the Select Committee in the end and agreed to by this House, but it put a limit on the leases that may be granted within the Town Belt. Again, sir, a certainty around future-proofing. So the Council may grant leases on no more than 8 hectares in total, actually, of the Town Belt, which is another excellent sort of way of protecting it. Sir, this is, to me, a sensible limit which allows some third-party use of areas within the Town Belt, but it ensures that no future council could allow more than the small percentage of Town Belt land to be occupied. So, sir, in looking at all of that, the council is also required to direct any monies earned from the leases on the Town Belt back to contribute to management costs, which again, sir, is around assuring that not only is it protected and it's managed properly, but it's also, there are revenue streams to ensure that it is actually to be ably managed. I think the other part, sir, is that the council is also limited to business activities within the Town Belt. And this received, particularly through the Chamber of Commerce, and that this actually was an interesting sort of part of the submission process. So, sir, in saying all of that, I want to close actually by just saying well done to the Wellington City Council for recognising the need for clarification of the status of this land and the modernisation of the management regime. That's right. Sir, I want to also acknowledge the many Wellingtonians who took an interest in the process and made submissions to the Select Committee. These are so important, not only in this bill, but in every bill that comes before a Select Committee, sir. The submitters are really an important part of it. Sir, also I want to acknowledge Grant Robertson MP for Wellington Central, because it was the Mr. Robinson, sir, as we've heard before, who has actually, and by many speakers, who has shepherded this through the House on behalf of his local council. Sir, the Wellington Town Belt is a unique and distinguishing feature of this city. Sir, to me and to all of us, it is the pū kaha kaha o te pā. It is the lungs of the city. And sir, it really does truly need to be protected, as this bill will do. And so, sir, on that note, kia ora also to those councillors that are here in the chamber, e mihi atu kia koutou. And I have no hesitation, sir, but to commend this bill to the House. Kia ora.
Members, this debate has concluded. The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it.
Wellington Town Belt Bill, third reading.
Point of order, Jamie Lee Ross.
Speaker, I seek leave for the House to suspend for the dinner break and resume again at 7:30.
Leave is sought for that purpose. Is there any objection? There is no objection then, members. I will resume the chair at 7:30.